welcome to the best netball podcast ever.
The only podcast more dramatic than a Super League Grand Final centre pass in the last 10 seconds. Hi, I'm Chris, and I cannot wait to be courtside for the Super League Grand Final.
And I'm Carla, and I'm still stretching just in case someone needs a last-minute wing attack.
Carla, there is more chance of Gary Burgess taking me to dinner than you are getting on that court.
Wow, that's an aggressive start. It's not even like 5 minutes in.
So the countdown to the 20th of June is officially on. The glitter is packed, the nerves are kicking in, and somewhere there's a goal attack already asking for the ball she definitely won't be free for. Can you tell I've written that myself?
Well, we're going to be bringing you all the grand final chaos, the courtside gossip, exclusive interviews, questionable predictions, and enough netball chat to make your Apple Watch think you've actually done cardio. We are chatting all things NSL grand final, and I am excited, and I can't wait to hear from the actual boss, the big boss.
I know.
The MD of the Super League is on our show today.
She is just a spectacular individual. The work she's doing is crazy.
I just think, she's like a ball of energy, isn't she? And she'll just put that sparkle back into the netball world. It's like a bit of a movement going on, and I'm so glad that we're a part of it. So I can't wait for today's interview.
But before that, we've got a new little segment, haven't we?
I know, and I'm very excited to let Lauren know about this. So for our listeners who haven't sequentially listened to our podcasts, we have had the lovely Lauren Nicholls helping out a little bit because Chris has been somewhat wayward. I'm not exactly sure where she's been.
Basically
in and out,
slacking.
Living her best life. A few rumours have been circulating. I don't know who started them.
I think I might have actually spread a few.
Well, we have had the lovely Lauren Nicholls helping us, but had such good feedback. I'm not sure if to be flattered for finding her or offended that people are saying words like netball knowledgeable, articulate.
Give her her own podcast.
Yeah, well, is that offensive to us, Chris? How do you feel?
I don't even know if the listeners miss me at all. I feel that Lauren just brought something so special to the podcast that we just haven't got.
I mean, so special that we're actually giving her a segment and we're making her a jingle, and I'm very excited to tell her about it.
I think we need to bring back one of our little traditions. A segment we both adore because it's where we get to hear from our people, our amazing listeners. Listeners' messages.
Hi everyone, my name is Katie and I got to meet the best netball podcast presenters the other night, and oh my gosh, it blew me away. What amazing, incredible, inspiring people they are. They talked to me, they interviewed me, and it was so lovely. This was at the Birmingham Panthers game against LexisNexis Dragons for the NSL, and it was just incredible to meet them all. I was supporting Birmingham Panthers because it is my hometown, but I now live in Northampton and I play netball like 6 nights a week, I want to say. 6 days, because sometimes they're day matches. And I've also just taken on a role as being a coach for a junior team, which is just amazing. And that's all after losing nearly 13 stone, I want to say now, and being wheelchair bound just a few years back. And now I'm back on the court living life. Honestly, I just feel so amazing. Massive shout out to my teams, Shadow Shooters, Shooting Stars, Star Strikers, all of my teams that I play in. You're all amazing. Everyone is just amazing. I love every minute of my netball journey. I just found it so inspiring and lovely just being around people. And it was just such a pleasure being able to speak to them all from the Best Netball podcast. So yeah, hope everyone has a fantastic rest of the day, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye for now.
Oh my God, how cute was that? Can I just say, right, to all our listeners, we've been to how many games now? I can't even count. In the 20s of live games, and we've spoken to probably hundreds of people, and this is my favourite person that I think we've been up to speak to. So sorry if that offends anyone else, but I can't help how I feel about it.
She was so humble. Katie did come and say hello to us and basically tell us that she did love our podcast. And we have heard that before, haven't we, from other people? But we went and had a chat with her, and we were not expecting what we heard, were we?
No, and it's just so inspirational for anybody who's thinking that they are missing something in their life or they want to get back to fitness. There's 1,000 reasons why you might take up a sport, any sport, and I just was blown away. And I mean, you came up to me, didn't you, and you said, I've just spoke to somebody, like we should go and say hi. And I was like, okay, yeah. Maybe we went not expecting for it to be anything other than we listened to the show. So I'm in awe of her and I'm so glad.
Thank you again, Katie. And we will see you at the grand final because you've been gifted a couple of tickets.
Yes, it shows it's worth commenting on our post, right?
Absolutely. Thank you, Claire Nelson.
Welcome, Lauren. We have dragged you back once again, kicking and screaming into our studio. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you. An opportunity to talk about netball, I obviously couldn't say no.
I've got big news, Lauren. Big news.
Oh, go on, I'm excited.
Well, we had a management meeting this week. All the senior board was brought together, basically me and Chris. And the news is we'd like to offer you your own jingle.
Oh, wow. How exciting. Wait, is that going to be sung by you and Chris? Because I'm not sure if that is exciting or not.
It's unclear at this time how this is going to land. Any second now, by the technical magic that is producer Pete, the jingle's going to be played. How do you feel?
Oh, okay. I'm really excited still. That's great. I feel like I'm really part of the team now. So thanks for welcoming me in. Thank you.
In all the Super League finals, all the wins in life, it doesn't compare, right?
Nowhere near this. I feel like as soon as this is finished, I'm going to go and shout it from the rooftops, tell everyone all about my jingle.
The Lowdown with Lauren. We are talking, Lauren, all things NSL finals, semi-finals, how it's shaping up. Our guest today is pretty special, actually. We're chatting with Claire Nelson, who is the Managing Director of the Super League. And before we get into that conversation, I thought it would be really helpful to get the lowdown with Lauren.
What do you want to know?
So I think firstly, let's help our listeners because not everybody knows how the structure of this part works. There's been a lot of talk about the teams that have made the finals, the top four. How does that structure work? Let everybody into the loop here.
Yeah, so last year was the first year that it changed. So, and I did see a few comments of, oh, is it not first play fourth and second play third? So traditionally, that's how it used to play before we moved to this professional era. And since we've moved to that, we have first v second in a major semi-final and then third v fourth in the minor semi-final, which are played on the same day. And then basically the winner of the major semi-final, first and second, will go straight through to the final. And then you've got the loser from that will go into a prelim final, which will be the winner of the third and fourth. So that's where preliminary final is, and then that will determine whoever wins that will go through to the Soft and Gentle Super League final. So last year, for example, Lightning played Pulse in the major semi-final, first and second. So and obviously I was with Lightning. We lost that major semi-final, but we beat Thunder in the prelim final because they'd won their minor semi-final, and then we got through to the final against Pulse, and then that's where we stopped talking.
Got it. So it sounds complicated, but in reality, this is pretty straightforward, isn't it? And at the end of the day, this should give us the best kind of outcome for who is the winner.
Yeah, I think so. And I think the advantage of having a home semi-final to start off with. So if you finish first, you get the home major semi-final. And then if you lose that one, you get the home prelim final. So the first and second place will have a chance again to play at home, which feels like a real gift back to your fans to give them that opportunity to come and watch you one more time at home before then they all get their tickets to make sure they're supporting you in that grand final as well. So I think one of the huge highlights of the year is obviously getting through to finals and making that top four and knowing that you've got more games to come. And again, I feel really, really privileged to have been in that scenario quite a few times as a player and a coach. And just knowing that you're season's still going, you've got a couple more weeks of training, you get a few more weeks of spending time with the girls and with all of your coaching staff. And then you get to do the fun stuff because you've done all the hard work to get to that top four. So that should be the bit where you just get to enjoy and see how far you can get.
So obviously you've been there a few times. What does it usually what does it feel like? What's the crowd like? Do you get fans that aren't your normal fans? How does that normally feel as a player and a coach? And do you think it will feel this year for our teams?
Yeah, I think it feels completely different to a normal game. I think the whole sort of spectacle around the game is huge. And I think last year in particular, it was an incredible event. And it's pretty much now I feel like I'm still only processing everything that was involved there. So, and again, looking at what's advertised for this year, and it is the whole sort of family day out, but also, your group of, netball team that you guys can go. You've got, again, for your family, you've got face painting, whatever else, you probably get a normal game, but you go and meet the rest of the players. So you've got players from other teams that aren't involved in the top four, but you get to meet those. There's lots of different competitions outside. There was so many people there supporting, but just the feel of it was everybody just coming together. So even if they weren't necessarily your first choice team and you are a Rhinos fan or somebody, you might have bought a ticket hoping that they'd be there. Even so, it's so good to then be like, I'm going to be part of this atmosphere, almost lap it up and support whoever my next team is that I really want to win in this final, and then hoping that sort of Rhinos will be there next year, for example. So yeah, I think the general feel of it was just that netball community all coming together. And last year, as I say, in particular, was so loud. I've never, ever been in an atmosphere like it. It was incredible. And that's as a coach. As a player, again, that was incredible as well. Just knowing that, people are showing up in their thousands to come and cheer. And it's not a bog standard game where, the results might be quite close or whatever else. It's cheering every single moment, and sort of the crowd really theatrical, getting involved in anything off the sideline. It was everyone cheering that it's our ball, and umpire goes the other way, and it's a big, ooh,
like a pantomime.
Call? Absolutely was a pantomime experience is what it felt like. But actually I quite like panto, so there you go. But the genuine sort of sporting theatre is what it felt like. And I think the build of what it's been over the last few years has been huge, but last year was incredible. And I just want so much to be there again this year for that, because it was one of the best experiences I've had in sport.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, the kind of theory behind it, isn't it? Because they've already sold out, or they've already sold a third of the space in the stadium, and they've gone big this year. It's a big stadium, 15,000 people could go. And it's quite interesting to think who's already bought those tickets. Are they fans that are specific teams that are assuming their team's going to get to the final, or hopeful that their team's going to get to the final? Are they fans that just want to watch a world-class netball match? And actually, it doesn't really matter. I'm sure you'd want to support your team, but would you be there regardless? Are people holding out to find out if their team gets in and then they'll buy a ticket? I think just that kind of psychology behind who is or isn't attending is really interesting. And for me, I'm going regardless. Obviously, we're going with the podcast, but I would have been buying my ticket the day they were released, knowing that it's going to be a world-class game of netball, and that's what this season's been about.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? The different scenarios that people are either waiting or they have them, or again, having a third sold already is great. But again, if people are waiting, what are you waiting for? Yeah. Because you already know it's going to be a fantastic game of netball. Fantastic doesn't even cover it. It will be so competitive. The atmosphere of the game doesn't feel like any others. And it's so much closer to say to that sort of world-class, international game. It does feel you get that sort of electric atmosphere. So knowing that you get to get involved in that as a person in the crowd, the extras that are on the outside are just all part and parcel of the day, as I said. Again, the music, again, we had good DJs there before, and again, performers, and again, fire and whatever else. It was it was quite humbling, actually. So my daughter, again, it's such a flex, because she's just I know the Super League final. And I'm thinking, well, that's not something that's normal for a 6-year-old. And again, when we went back to back, I said to her that we were going to the final again, and we're going to London, and we're going to the game, and just explained. She's like, oh yeah, no, I know what to do. So you want me to come down when we lift the trophy? When we lift the trophy? I was like, that is fantastic confidence from you. So yeah, that was that sort of amazing atmosphere and experience that she's had. Not just the trophy lift, but again, the fire is what made me think about it, because we went from the final last year at the O2 with the fire and the confetti and whatever else and all that part of it. And then I think the next game I had was then a regional game, and she came to watch at Loughborough University Sports Hall. And on the way, I said we were going to netball, and she just said, is there going to be fire? And I was like, no. She's like, confetti? I was like, no. She's like, oh, will I need my ear defenders? Is it going to be really loud? I was like, I don't think for regional league it's going to be as loud as those 10,000 fans were 2 or 3 weeks ago. But still, we're going to enjoy a good game of netball, and Mummy's going to try her best to create some sort of atmosphere so you still enjoy the game. So yeah, it was quite a humbling experience between that sort of highs of grand final to then Mummy's just playing netball again. Yeah, the atmosphere and the sort of memories that I've had bringing her to the Super League finals are so special. And she was really good about it as well, even after last year not winning. And genuinely, the first thing she just said that she looked at my silver medal and she wanted to wear it. And she said, oh, this is the one that you get when you try really hard, but you didn't win.
Bless her.
And I just thought, you've hit the nail on the head. Like, we did try really hard. We've had a great season. We had a good game. Just the best team on the day won. And that was that. But oh gosh, I've like goosebumps thinking about it again. I'm so excited already. Just the thought now of me having a possibility of being involved again at Forest a grand final is incredible. But even if we didn't, like, touch wood, we will. But even if we didn't make it, I'd be going to go and watch it and just be a part of that atmosphere, just because it is so incredible.
I can completely relate to all of that. I also have a 5-year-old that I have to manage expectations when I do mention going to games. I'll say to her, we're off to netball, and she thinks, oh yes, face paint, and I'll bring my foam finger, and I'm like, we're going to the North West Leicester League and we're going to play in Colville Leisure Centre with 13 spectators. So yeah, I totally get that. Yeah. You're absolutely right. And I think the environment and the day out and the part of it, like I said, it feels like almost like world-class netball's a bonus to everything else.
Completely.
Let's talk a bit about the 4 teams then. Obviously at the moment we obviously know who's in there, which is Lightning, Thunder, Pulse and Forest. The structure obviously will play out dependent on those finishing positions. How much do you think it still matters as they play their games now? If they already know they've qualified, is that mindset changed? Does it make any difference? You've been in this position. Do you think it matters to the players? Yeah, completely does. I think finishing, again, as high as possible, really important. I think you want to finish in form. So again, we've been speaking about teams that are sort of peaking right towards the end of the season. And again, now looking at, again, Forest that I'm involved in, really strong performance last week, just starting to peak and really show that they've got nothing to lose, but also that they completely back themselves. And we want to finish this season as strong as possible with a good run coming into semi-finals, knowing that we can go out to go and win the whole thing. It's not, we've made it to top 4, we'll stop there. We want to go and win. And the same thing with the other 3 teams. Yes, they've been in semis and finals much more times than what we have, but they want to finish the season strong, get their final standings as high as possible, and just feel like they are coming in knowing what combos or impact changes they can make, knowing what they're doing, again, a little bit when things hit the fan and it's not great. What is our go-to next? And what is the plan B? Because anything can happen. And unfortunately, at Lightning, we've been in a couple of scenarios where there's been big injuries on a grand final day. And again, moving into the sort of coaching team, the last 2 years in the final, I started to understand what our process and protocol would be, again, if that happened on the day, because obviously it's devastating for the player, for the rest of the players, for the staff, if that happens. And again, you never want to see those things happen. But just knowing what do you do then, because the game isn't going to stop. So how do you then regroup and get everyone back together and try and perform as best as possible in those moments that are horrible for that scenario? So I think just playing out a few of those scenarios, good and bad, it's really important that then you sort of prepped and you've done everything possible. With anything, you want to prepare your best. If you don't prepare, you're gonna fail. So preparations and training, trying to go through a few scenarios. So again, looking at clock pressure. So again, we're 5 goals down and we need, this, how many for next quarter, or this is how many seconds are left, or whatever else. Or, okay, we've got a centre pass, we've got 20 seconds. What are you doing? This is a score. We've got 3 minutes to go and the momentum's going with us. What do you want to do in this scenario? There's so many permutations that we could do. And again, what was crazy, and again, people have spoken about it afterwards, was in the 23 final, I don't know how we thought of the scenario or why it came up, but we thought in training about what would we do if our centre got sent off, because then you're playing with 6. And then lo and behold, come the Saturday, centre gets sent off 2 minutes. So what was our strategy for that? So just the stuff that might not have happened in the season, but you're planning for absolutely everything, is really important. And the top 4 teams, now they know they're secure. It's not just let's just keep doing what we're doing and we're doing really well, so play well and we'll win.
it's the tiny, tiny little details that really matter. And even the sort of prep to get up to Manchester, where are we staying? What does our day look like? How do we train if we're going to train? How do we go and see the court? Analysis we'll want to do, depending on if you have been in the prelim semi or you've been in the major semi-final. If you win the major, so Pulse won it, they had a week off a match because that's when the prelim was, and then they came to the final. So do you put a bit more match play in there just so you're doing as much match play, or do you just take the rest because you get the rest? You know, it's all those different little sections that you've got to really consider. And then also, because they're playing an extra game, you've got an extra hour's worth of analysis. So you can see exactly what they've done in the semi-final, in their prelim semi-final, to prep for the final. So theoretically, that should put the first place team in the best position. They win their major, they've got a week to sort of watch what they do, just train, keep things ticking over, and then they go hard into training, ready to lead up into the final, and they should have every scenario covered to beat whoever wins the prelim. So that's the theory, but realistically as well, anything can happen, as we know. So again, the fourth place team, they win their minor semi-final. Again, they're on a high because they've won it. So they go again. They win the prelim. They go to the final with nothing to lose here. We've got off the back of 2 good wins. We go and shock everyone and go, here we go, 4th place, we win the final. Now, not naming any names, but that could happen.
It's crazy, isn't it? And it just astounds me how much you don't potentially realise as a fan watching how much goes into it, how many scenarios could play out, how much analysis is involved, and how much it is such a team effort. Obviously, you completely recognise the 10 players in the squad and probably the head coach, but all of those other people that are around that have to do that work to look at every case that could happen. It's just so important that I think that translates out to our listeners, that people understand all of this sort of background that's going into it. And it probably, you're absolutely right, that I think the most prepared teams are the ones that are putting themselves in the best position with every scenario covered, if you can get that many. But it's really exciting.
Yeah, the whole team behind the team. Also the region. And again, there's a lot of players, again, that are like from your region that support you and supporting, and you have like clubs that will come and watch, and again they're like there in their club kit, so you like recognise them because they've been at games all season, and then they've come to watch you in the semi-final, then they're there at the grand final, or again they're already there like in their like Lightning, like Forest or whatever, they're in their kit and you can spot them in the crowd. That made a massive difference, particularly last year. We're playing against a London team, we're playing in London, like being able to look up and see purple fans just meant the world to the players, and it just makes a huge difference. And again, having those like people there in the crowd supporting and knowing they're there for you is really, really special.
Yeah, and this is so much to what we were saying earlier as well about like with your daughter and my daughter, 5 years old and 6 years old, how we left that with them feeling inspired, like they're watching thinking that I'm lifting this trophy with my mum. This is a generation of players that for years to come that could feel exactly the same. And obviously I know it's a tough run to be the 0.1% that does play on that court, but it's not about that, is it? It's about inspiring players to play at whatever level. And I feel like it's such a privilege to witness, to be involved, to play, to support. So really, really exciting. Predictions, expectations. I mean, I guess so much is game plan execution, a little sprinkling of luck, some magic. There's going to be 4 teams that will have already met each other, which I think is interesting, which is obviously a bit different if you're going to like international games. It's quite good to know that there's still matchups that are of those 4 teams that there is left to play in the Super League. I think that'll make a difference. They're obviously going out, feeling each other, seeing how that works, seeing what it feels like. Forest obviously have the run of the 3 other top teams in a row, already beaten 1. That's got to feel good. How they play out might make a difference. There's a lot to it, isn't there? A lot to think about, a lot to talk through.
Yeah, I think there is. And I think, as you say, like maybe a little bit of sprinkling of luck every so often in games. But I do sort of believe that you sort of make your own luck. So again, as much as you are, you know, like chasing the ball down, like making the difference of taking penalties quickly or making sure you're really clean in the moment, or again, like that crucial like turnover, so you've finally got an interception, taking that one to goal that stops their momentum of 2 goals in a run makes such a big difference. And those kind of small percenters in a game, say like a loose ball or just like backing your teammate up or something else, that's not luck, that is you putting absolutely everything on the line. And I think that's what, again, I've been really proud to be around in Forest, is you can see that like every single moment like counts and matters to those players. And I think that will be the difference. when it gets to semis and finals of what gets you over the line. And the matchups are insane. Again, if you look at the squad list for those 4 teams, internationals sprinkled everywhere. There's so much experience. There's lots of people with championships under their belt from the NSL. So having that experience of being in there, that can't be overlooked, because just being there and being able to absorb the atmosphere and not feel overwhelmed by it is huge as well. So again, for us, our first time being in there, it might be a bit like, wow, we're here and we're on the big stage. Can we still stay switched on in those moments to what we've done previously? Whereas again, if you're sort of looking at a Lightning or a Thunder who've got multiple winners in there, that have got sort of 3, and then Thunder with their sort of 4 titles behind them, can we have a look at playing on that experience and knowing what we do in these moments? And it's just a game of netball, but it's so much more. And again, it is hopefully to the players, they want to try as much to sort of really feel it, and you want to absorb the atmosphere and know that not everyone will get this experience. So again, you can be playing in the Super League your whole career and never get to a semi-final. But to even just get to that semi-final and feel that experience, you really want to absorb it and really appreciate the moment, appreciate the hard work from the season that's got you there. But then also being able to execute at the same time and not be too stressed that it is a big occasion and just play the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's looking at each team, isn't it, on its own merit. I mean, Forest have played all season with a real kind of fearlessness, and I think that's standing them in such good stead. And if you look at the stats, even with Forest and Lightning, for example, Forest have won 3 out of 4 now, haven't they? And the game they lost, so from last season, they won both against Lightning. This season, they won 1, lost 1, but the game they lost was by 1 goal. So they're going to go in with a real confidence from that. I think Thunder, everyone's talked about their lineup on paper, their experience on paper, they're coming into form at the right time. There's just so many advantages that I think their squad and their experience will have. Lightning, I think, came in strong. They were unbeaten for such a big run. There's just so much to it. And I think Pulse, they're off the back of last year's win. So weighing on all those factors, it's kind of like a little tick to everybody, a flag for everybody. And let's see what happens on the day.
Completely that. And I think everyone has a real shot at it. You're not looking at and thinking, okay, it's going to be this team that win it. It's a real open floor of who's going to get there, and of what these last 2 rounds look like are huge. Then even what that sort of major and minor semi-final looks like, huge. So make sure people are watching those. And then looking at what that prelim semi-final looks like. And I think that turnaround, and earlier we were talking about like the team, a little bit of team behind the team, the coaching staff, but then also just again, your event staff, the people that are putting on those home games, but also the people that are also involved in England Netball putting on this final in such a fantastic arena. That sort of inspiration to be involved in the game at that level is so important as well. And again, most of those are probably players themselves. Again, play at whatever level, and they are involved in, some of them volunteering, but some of them that's their full-time job, ticketing, setting out what's on the concourse, looking after guests that have been invited, like all of the like flooring, the like markings on the court, the sponsors. There's so many people involved and invested in this final that it means so much to everyone in the netball community that you just want to make sure that enough people are there then to back it and to really see it, because it is a great event and will bring that whole community together no matter the winner.
Absolutely. Let's have a chat with Claire Nelson. Let's see what she's got to say. The big boss is coming, and I'll see you at the final, but our message is loud and clear. Get your ticket, get it early, and go and watch some world-class netball. Thanks for your time today, Lauren.
No probs, anytime.
I'm very, very pleased to welcome Claire Nelson to our podcast, who is one of the most influential people shaping the future of netball in the UK right now. Before taking on the role of Managing Director of the Netball Super League, she spent more than 7 years as CEO of Netball Scotland, where she helped transform the organisation commercially and strategically, whilst leading Strathclyde Sirens through one of the most competitive and financially challenging eras of elite netball. Now she sits at the centre of one of the biggest transformations the sport's ever seen, from professionalism, franchise restructuring and broadcast expansion to player salaries, commercial investments and long-term visions for elite netball in the UK. She's helping lead the complete relaunch of the Netball Super League. Welcome to the best netball podcast ever, Claire Nelson. How are you?
I'm good. That was a fancy introduction, wasn't it? I feel like I need to bring my A game today.
I feel like I could have wrote 20 times that and still not touched the surface.
But you know what? I'm just like you guys, someone who feels really passionately about what we're doing and is just kind of all in on trying to get our sport to realise its potential. And what a season we've had so far anyway.
Which leads us nicely on to the season, actually. So we're looking back. Obviously, we're not at the end yet. We've still got a little way to go. But how would you sum up the season so far in just a few words?
Well, I've personally loved it. I've really enjoyed it. And I think I've sort of reflected. I've done a few more kind of talky stories on Instagram, which is very out of my comfort zone. But look, none of us shy away from saying how hard it is working in women's sport, and none of us shy away from saying how hard it is working in netball right now. But I think compared to this time last year, when it was very much trying things for the first time and new clubs and relaunching, and it was so full on, this year, and it still is, but this year being able to see kind of what a year under our belts has been able to deliver, and seeing amazing on-court competition. I mean, it's so compelling. It's so exciting. I am so here for the playoffs and the grand final, but seeing every team be able to challenge any team on any day, but just looking at the social content that ourselves in the centre and all the clubs are delivering, seeing people like yourselves. There's so many more content creators and podcasters talking about our sport and really getting excited about it and bringing new audiences in. I mean, the growth of our digital reach and engagement is far beyond anything we forecast and set ourselves as a target at the start of the season. Our broadcast views are up. Mavs had nearly 5,000 people in Wembley just yesterday, and we've had some Pulse at the start of the season with nearly 5,000 in their venue. So there's been some real highlights that just show the work that we're doing and the journey that we're going on. While it's slow and steady, because we have to build sustainably, we're moving in the right direction and we're seeing real progress. But we're all here for the sport and the netball, and I just think it's brilliant.
I couldn't agree with you more. And obviously we've been on that journey as fans, sort of watching from the sideline, and it's been such a breath of fresh air to feel like we've been a real part of that journey with you guys. It's been such a great season so far. What do you think have been the standout positives that you've seen? Is there anything particularly that you think has had the strongest impact that perhaps you weren't expecting?
Just the general competitiveness of the whole season has been beyond my expectations. So every single year you don't want a top four and a bottom four and games to blow out. And we haven't had that. And in fact, I mean, just look at that Forest result against Lightning at the weekend. I mean, that was something else. So to have real unexpected results and to have what you would potentially deem as like underdogs taking wins, pushing teams to extra time, that for me has been really exciting. And that's what we know then drives the fandom. It drives the talkability. Everyone wants to watch. Often we see, as with a lot of leagues, you can see a bit of a dip in, say, broadcast views or maybe kind of engagement across socials, and ours isn't. It's actually increasing because people are so pulled into the story of this season and really following the players, really following the teams and championing this league. So that for me, that's the stuff we can't control. When we build, we think about our marketing plans and our ticketing strategies and our venue strategy and all of these things. The bit then you can't control is what happens on court. But I did say going into this season, it just felt different. You could see, with some of the recruitment, coaching changes and tweaks. And you just felt like you had teams that were settled and ready to go, and that everyone sort of believed that they could have a crack at that. And that's all I ask for, is that you have 8 teams that go into a league every season and think, I want to win this, and we can win this.
Again, I couldn't agree more. We've been lucky enough and privileged to be able to speak to those coaches and those teams and those clubs, all saying exactly that. So when you're building the league at the pace you're trying to achieve here, what's the hardest thing to balance to get that right?
Pace is absolutely that's the challenge for all of us. I always say, if we're not short of ideas and innovation and potential, but we have to grow at a pace that is sustainable. So that for us, we've always said it from the start, it's grow the fan base so that can drive the ticket sales, that drives our sponsorship value, and it also drives our broadcast value. So we have to keep making sure that we're putting on great match days. We're driving this kind of the fan engagement, and that's sustainable. So sometimes I'd love us to do a million more things, but I think we've seen in our own sport, across the pond, we've seen in other sports that actually slow and steady and long-term sustainable growth is absolutely the right approach here. So yeah, and we've done that this year. For me, year one, we introduced a lot of new stuff and we were like, let's try this. Let's see what lands, new rules, new innovations, new brand, new clubs, new venues. This year was really about, okay, what have we learned? What do we do more of that's working? Where do we consolidate, work smarter? And we're doing that again next year. And we're looking at that around our fixtures and our venue strategy and really building on that. So there's a lot more insight now that sits underneath what we're doing, but our growth metrics are going in the right direction. And that tells us we're doing the right things.
How would you describe the identity of the NSL right now in a competitive netball market with the other leagues in other countries?
I look at what they're doing, but I'm very much focused on ourselves. And, for us, I think we're exciting. And I think the fact that we are masters of our own destiny and we're at the start of our journey is really exciting. We can learn from other netball leagues. We can also learn from other sports leagues. What I'm really enjoying is the kind of unsexy, uncool stuff, but the things that we're building behind the scenes. So we have a project that we call Netball Reimagined, and that's where our clubs and our regions and all of our kind of local grassroots netballers, volunteer networks and England Netball are working together to build kind of integrated systems that grow the whole sport. And we're seeing that play out. So if you were lucky enough to be in Liverpool, for example, a couple of weeks ago at M&S Bank Arena, so many local schools, clubs, networks made up that fan base. And so building that system where our clubs are really in the heart of the netball community and that we're building the sustainable system, that's the thing that excites me. And that kind of working as one is so unique to NSL and England Netball and our clubs at the moment. We're really coming together so that we can build something that makes the Roses successful on the world stage, that grows participation, that creates opportunities to develop in our sport, but is also going to really fuel and power the growth of the NSL. And I love that. So I don't know how I would describe that in a personality, but I think we're just comfortable in our own skin and we're on our own path. And I'm okay with that. Like, let's do us and do it well.
That's such a powerful message, isn't it? And what's great for us as this podcast is obviously our audience is made up of those grassroots players. And I think it's making sure that obviously that message gets out there, that we don't want this huge gap between people that play on a Sunday morning and in the cold Leicester courts outside versus obviously the NSL that they're enjoying being a part of. It's that whole integration, isn't it? And I think for us, we really want to get that message across. Absolutely.
And I grew up in that environment. I grew up, first of all, at the side of a netball court because my mum was a netballer and she was, one of 5 sisters. Netball was very much part of their life. And then I became that netballer myself, played at school, played county, played club, played, outdoor, indoor, mixed netball in Old Sager through the Summer League. I couldn't get enough of it. And for me, all those things that make us want to play and be part of that netball community. And look, we know that it's far more than just a sport when you participate. We know that there are women and girls that are showing up to netball week in, week out, who are going through life, and that netball community is supportive of all of those life moments. And it's your time to forget them, to be part of something, to play this amazing team sport, but to have this sisterhood and this connection and this friendship around you. Well, we want to take all of that and put that in the stands and create fandom through it. Because if you love playing netball, then surely you're going to want to love watching the best of it. And that's what we're really driving for the grand final. It's this ultimate netball day out, but built through our own people, the 3 million that we know of that play it every single week. How can we bring you together in a safe and uplifting and empowering and unjudgmental environment? And that's what we've really been working on this year, is how can we get the people that play it to also be part of being fans. And that just comes from speaking our collective language of why we all love netball and what it means to us.
That is so powerful. And I can categorically confirm it is working, because these are the exact conversations that we have in the stands week after week at the games, and also on the grassroots courts, in the grassroots tournaments.
Just on this as well, like, we need this now more than ever. I know that I am very emotive when I talk about NSL, and I always talk about like the kind of commercial side of it and what we need to build, because that's what's going to drive our sport forward. But that stuff we only achieve that if we unlock this fandom. And it's so hard for women and girls right now. And what we represent is that ability to come together. And my DMs have never been so full of people just sharing stories of what the NSL means to them. Little girls who are saying, I had something where she was like, netball helps me to breathe and I want to be pro one day. And, you know, as somebody who is still supporting a daughter through quite significant health challenges, I just think surrounding yourself by people and being in an environment that just allows you to feel your own power, your own sense of power internally. Like, we need that. And I know that there are so many amazing things happening in women's sport right now, but netball's the one true women's sport. And that grassroots power, if we can unlock that through fandom, and if I can get 10,000 or more of us in the Co-op Live on the 20th of June, I think it can do far more than just unlock the commercial power of a sport. I think it can be transformational in so many other ways.
I couldn't agree more. Brings us nicely on to talk about the grand final. I mean, it's going to be a significant moment for the NSL. What does a successful final look like from your perspective? What are you planning?
We wanted to go bigger and better. And, you know, O2 last year was a real moment for us to get those record-breaking numbers in this iconic venue. And it was fantastic. But we've always said, look, we want to keep pushing ourselves. And we only have a couple of moments in our calendar where we can create something like this. So we're going to the Co-op Live. It is the biggest indoor arena in the UK. So we've got a lot of bums on seats to get in there. But you know what? As I keep saying, 3 million people play our sport. So we only need a tiny percentage of that to turn up and be there. But oh my goodness, you should be there. So we thought we're in Manchester. It is the home of live music. We talk all the time about NSL and understanding our fans and how do we drive that intersect between sport and also fashion, music, art, lifestyle to create really unique indoor arena sportainment experiences. And that's what we're doing. So we have a lovely first centre pass time of 3 p.m. so everyone can get in and out if you're not lucky enough to be able to stay overnight. But if you weren't aware of what we did last year, we ran a fan zone all day. We've got indoor and outdoor fan zones. We listen, we follow all of our content creators and podcasters. We know you've loved this season. We know that you've been invested in our players and our teams and those stories. So we want to make this a celebration of this season. And we will get to hear from a lot of our podcasters and content creators as we chat to our players and our teams. We want you to bring you up close and personal so you can meet those players. But we've also got live music. We've also got a halftime show. We're also going to have our DJs and our amazing moments where you are in the crowd waiting for those two amazing teams to take on the biggest battle of the season yet. We are going to give you goosebumps and chills, and we are going to raise the roof off this venue. So it's a full day. We want everyone to show up. And this is one of those things that just do it. Just buy your ticket and be part of it, because I promise you it will be an amazing, amazing day. And all those things that I've talked about already, we're going to bring them to life. We've got lots of things planned, and we will be sharing this over the next few weeks. But we're really pushing ourselves. We're here for the fans, and I hope everyone's going to love it as much as we will.
This sounds absolutely fantastic. Just wow. And I cannot wait to feel even just a tiny small part of it, and I'm absolutely sure that every other fan will feel the same. And it's so amazing to see you try to bring obviously everyone along on that journey. So thank you, and I literally can't wait. We will be shouting this from the rooftops, I'm sure, along with every other content creator and podcaster that's out there.
Who do you think is going to make the final? Who's your money on?
I would have said the obvious Lightning and Pulse. I think Thunder from the beginning on paper were looking strong, looking good, and I think they're peaking at the right time. So I would be surprised if it wasn't Thunder, and I can't decide who that will push out. But I'm not ruling Forest out. I think it's wide open. They seem to want it.
They want it. You know what? I am the biggest believer in mindset. And I just think, hunger, drive, connectivity, self-belief, all of those things. They've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. And their execution at the weekend was phenomenal. And I own a Krystine. We're going to the Commonwealth Games in just a few months. And the amount of players across our league who hopefully we will get to see play for their countries, they are just absolutely on fire at the moment. But I love that we're going into this and we don't know. I'm so excited. I think round 14 is going to be amazing, our final round, because we've obviously got Thunder, Lightning, Pulse, Forest. So that's going to give us a taster. And then going into our playoffs where it's kind of all up in the air going into the grand final. And that's what I love, because I've sold you the grand final for all the amazing entertainment we're going to put on and all the things you can experience. But it's going to come down to the best game of netball we will have seen this year, and I'm absolutely here for a battle. I hope it goes to extra time because I love that drama.
Get your money's worth.
I'm here for that drama. I know it gives coaches heart attacks, but wouldn't it be amazing that it was just goal for goal, that it was a real battle to the end? But all 8 teams have done absolutely phenomenal. And I listened to your Lauren Palmer interview as well, and she's just... I just love her. I just think she's amazing. And I know we've got less experienced coaches, but everyone's on their own journey doing their own thing. And having been a club owner, and you maybe are sitting at the bottom of the table, I know how tough that is. It is tough to keep going, but the performances all of our teams have put out and the resilience everyone's shown this year, I just think is remarkable. I'm in awe of them all, and I'm so grateful because it's them and the performances that they put out that really builds all of this other stuff for us and builds that fandom.
Absolutely. I think that inspirational element of it is going to translate so well into every club. And like you said, whether you're an elite player, whether you're inexperienced, whether you're new learning, or whatever stage of your journey, in whatever stage of netball you're playing, it kind of translates across that whole spectrum, doesn't it, so well? What do you think it means for the players that step onto that stage in that final as part of this NSL journey?
I mean, everything, I would imagine. I'm always... This is where I become a fan as well. I want to know what's said in the dressing rooms before a grand final. I want to know what's said in the dressing rooms at half time in a grand final. I wonder for the likes of a Nat Panigari, who's really seasoned at this, who it won't mean any less, but will have a different sense of kind of experience to those that may take to court for a grand final for the very first time. And it's just what they're here for. It's what they get up every single day for and train. And some of these athletes, they don't even live near their club, and they have to travel to training, and maybe seeing teammates get injured, and having unexpected losses, and then having the highs of amazing wins. And just, I think when you're doing it as part of a team, I can only imagine it's truly special and heartbreaking if you don't quite get over the line, and just absolutely euphoric when you do. But I always just think that to get to that point anyway, it's undeniable how amazing you've been and how consistent you've been throughout the season. But as I said, I'm absolutely in awe of the physical and mental grit of every single player. And I am there's got to be one winner. It's sport. Someone has to win. Someone has to lose. I know we are going to create an incredible sense of occasion that does absolute justice to these two teams that are going to battle it out to lift that beautiful, ridiculously heavy, but beautiful trophy. With everything we're putting on around it, we will not lose sight of this being the absolute apex of what has been, for me, one of the most remarkable and competitive seasons we've ever had. So we will do them absolute justice.
And I'm sure they understand the sort of magnitude of what it means for everyone else watching, that inspiration element that you just can't bottle, you can't contain.
I know.
So finally, I would feel like we could talk about this literally all day, and I am so grateful for your time. But just in terms of that last question, why should a fan come and attend that final? What should it be for them to come along and join you on the 20th of June at the Co-op Live?
Just be part of it. If you haven't been to a grand final or a central event before, then this has to be the one you go to. If you love netball, then come and experience the best game of netball. If you want to just be surrounded by amazing fans in this incredible venue to watch the most exciting game of netball, then this is the place. I feel like we wait, don't we? We wait to see, like, is there something else on? Let's book those tickets. Let's break some records. And when I talk about fandom being the thing that will unlock our sport, I really, really mean it. So if we want to go quicker, if we want to bring more money in, if we want to pay players and umpires and administrators more, if we want bigger venues, if we want to drive the sport forward, then we have to do that through fandom. And, we've got a Cricket World Cup going on at the same time as the Netball Super League Grand Final. We're obviously seeing the rise of women's rugby. You've got the rise of WSL. We're the one true women's sport. Let's really make a statement and come together and take the roof off this venue and show everyone why netball is the leading women's sport. And I promise you, we're going to make it great value for money and an amazing day out. So let's do it. Let's show up. Let's come together. Let's create a movement. Bring if you're in a team, if you're in a league, if you're in a club, if you've got some girlfriends, bring them. Let's go. Let's dress up. Do you, be you, and let's have an amazing, amazing day at the netball.
Claire, your passion is absolutely infectious. I cannot thank you enough for your time.
It keeps me going because it's so hard, but it keeps me going because I love it. I love it.
We will absolutely see you at that live final, and thank you for the pure spectacle of what we've had so far in the NSL. Keep being simply fantastic, and we'll see you in the live final.
And thank you as well. We appreciate you, and let's go on this journey together and just keep spotlighting our beautiful league sport and players.
Thank you. We'll speak soon. Take care. I felt like I could barely contain her, like a bottle of pop about to explode, but she gave me goosebumps. And I think it has such momentum, doesn't it, this season, off the back of last year and the new 2.0 era and everything that's coming. I'm on the train, do you know what I mean? And it is absolutely flying. So everybody get your tickets booked to that grand final.
It just feels like this year so many more people are invested in the Super League. The teams that they're supporting are just getting better and better. Everybody's loving going to watch the live games. Even the ones that are watching it on TV, we're all invested, aren't we, in some way?
Absolutely. I mean, we were chatting off camera, weren't we, about how you can literally support pretty much any team, and regardless, you want to go to that final to watch a world-class netball match. And I can't get my head around how much sort of momentum it's got, and it only makes me wonder where it's going the next year and the next year and the next year. Because, I mean, how do you top the biggest arena in the country? That's the question. But we'll be there. We've got backstage access and media passes. I think they're mad giving us that, but hey ho, let's run with it.
But it'll be too late. We'll literally run in, grab them, and then we'll cause havoc. No, we won't really. We're just so looking forward to shouting even more about the wonder that is netball.
And we'll see you all on the 20th of June.
We have to, as always, say thank you to our amazing sponsors, Akuma Sports.
Akuma Sports create high-quality custom teamwear for clubs, schools and organisations. So if your team is looking for professional netball kits, training gear or off-court apparel,
don't forget their inclusive kit, because that is awesome.
Then make sure you check them out at akumasports.com.
akumasports.com.
I forgot that you'd made them their own jingle.
As always, like, follow and share our content, please, 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 to help us keep creating.
All the info from today's show is in our magic show notes.
And as always, you can contact us via Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or email us to the best netball podcast ever
at gmail.com. Well, I think that's all we've got time for this week, Chris, because I am worn out after being on this journey talking all things Super League and all things Grand Final. So
Roll
we'll be back
on
next week,
the 20th of June, and we will see you all next week.
Have a great week, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.